Okay, so like I was saying, we had a lot happening in the world, the market dumping for a very long time. I mean, for a few weeks. Things have been coming back positive, and we are getting a lot of media saying, well, Trump had a 90-day pause on tariffs, right? Um, but a lot of the media out there, depending on what you listen to and who you listen to, will tell you that China has nothing, like no, the government and the president doesn't want anything to do with changing anything with the tariffs. But in the background, they have been slowly taking off tariffs for certain things. Ethanol, gold, there's multiple things that they're slowly taking tariffs off. Um, so in July is really like the crucial moment. Will we get a full deal made by July? Because if we don't, let me show you something else as well. Inflation is a lot lower than what they have you believe, also. This is a website called Trueflation. And, a lot of the media is speaking as if inflation is just, I mean, it's not like at some great spot right now, right?
Hey,
But
bro, we can't see your screen, Alex.
oh, shit. My bad. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Okay, this is a website called Trueflation. Sorry, guys. And this is like probably the most accurate way to really look at data when it comes to inflation. A lot of different things. I do think also on May 7th, which is literally 6 days away, we will most likely probably get a small rate cut. This is another catalyst for the market to continue to do well. For you that are new, CME
I'm so
is,
see.
you still can't see my screen? Hold up. Can you guys see my screen? I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Right now, I mean, it is forecasted to be only a 5% chance that it'll come down. Um, but I still think that by May 7th or June 18th, we'll most likely have a rate cut. Um, June 18th is a 56% chance, and that's before the tariff deal in July. But all of this is very, very important because, hold on, let me move this out the way. Everything is really like crucial. Okay. Like I know the market's been coming back up. S&P, NAS, the stock market's coming back up. The VIX is dropping. For you guys that don't know that the VIX is the volatility index, okay? Now, just, a couple of weeks ago, early in the month, I mean, we were reaching levels of COVID. When the volatility, the VIX goes up, the stock market and crypto market is dumping. So it is very, very, very scary when the VIX, no, this was August, I'm sorry. This was 2020 COVID. It got up to 75, 76, all the way up to 80. In August, we did have a huge spike. We did have a major spike getting up to 60 on the VIX. But what I wanted to go over with you guys is like everything is flowing back to the upside, right? And from here to July really depends on the rest of this year. I personally think that Trump and China will come up with a tariff deal and by July. I truly do. And I do believe everything will work out very easily. I mean, I think they'll figure it out by then. You see that Bitcoin has came all the way back to 97,000, right? We did have the major pump down. But I do think before I start there, let me show you something. So the Bitcoin dominance, right? This is showing where the money is in crypto, right? So as of right now, Bitcoin has 64% of the dominance, meaning 64% of the money, which right now is $2.97 trillion dollars. We were peaking at 3.72 trillion just back in December, and then in January, right after he came into office, it was like 3.6, right? And we have slowly declined since. We got down to 2.3 trillion and bounced right back. But right now we are in these zones where we just broke through above here. The next level will be 3 trillion that we need to get across, which I think we'll do. And the Bitcoin dominance is starting to reach where everyone is predicting we'll probably get into the 66 to 70% range. And back in the last bull run in 2020 and 2021, right, going into 2021, this is where the Bitcoin dominance dropped, meaning all the money started with the altcoin rally. So when the Bitcoin dominance gets up to these levels of 70%, 66 maybe, this is where we're likely start seeing the altcoins outperforming Bitcoin, right? Um, Certain ones though, like Ethereum, have been very, very iffy for the majority of this run.
No, thank
Solana,
you.
um, Edith, your microphones or someone. But Solana doing very well. XRP for a lot of you, you know, the dominance of XRP massively rose from November last year and has maintained in the 4 to 5% range for a while. The others kind of are falling back. The um the real question a lot of people are wondering is like, is ETH gonna even like do very well this run, right? And there's a lot of people I know that are huge into ETH. ETH has a huge ecosystem with, you know, the most money outside of anything but Bitcoin. And I truly think that ETH is gonna surprise everybody. I think that a lot of the money will start flowing back into ETH. Not that Solana, XRP, SUI, some of these won't do well, but I think Bitcoin will still be the number one for a little while longer. I think was us getting into, you know, this is where July is at, like right here is July, right? So we still, you know, I know this is on the daily chart, so you got to think, you know, big time frame here, but this still has some room to really see what it's going to do. We could hit this fib level of the 786 at 66% and then start seeing that to bleed. But every run this happens, you can play it back. There's a point where Bitcoin, the money flows from Bitcoin into all the altcoins, right? And it's really important to, if you are in crypto, to be able to understand and look at the dominance charts for everything, especially like the total market cap of the whole crypto market, right? And the Bitcoin dominance and so forth. But um nowadays, sorry guys, nowadays Bitcoin and the S&P correlate like with each other 100% almost. And it's why I trade S&P or NAS and Bitcoin simultaneously every day, right? When one goes up, the other goes up. When one goes down, the other goes down. Because Bitcoin is so mainstream at this point, right? Bitcoin is 100% ETF, stock market, it is everywhere now, and it is the most sought after asset. Now, there's a lot of people that are new that think that buying Bitcoin, it's too high, like the price is too high. But what I can tell you is, you know, 10 years from now, you're going to be really mad at yourself when Bitcoin's reaching 500K to a million a coin, which I can guarantee is going to happen. Um, Not that stocks and Forex aren't great. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just trying to, especially for the new people, like we're in a point right now where I think we're gonna get one last pullback down. Don't get me wrong, and it could be approaching like we just broke this resistance on the daily or the 4 hour, but right here is where I don't think it's going to be crashing down to like 60 and below, but I do think we could get maybe back into levels maybe here or down here, right? In the 70, low 70s. But really from here to July is going to be where it's all um, key as to where we're going to go. Now, I wanted to also highlight and point out a lot of other coins that a lot of you guys that aren't even in crypto at all right now really could capitalize on, and like 100% are super safe bets that just, Bitcoin obviously always, Ethereum always is decent, but I do question if Ethereum is going to run as much as all these others this run. Solana's obviously, and I'm not saying buy today. I'm saying within the next couple months. Say Solana comes back down to 100, $120, even 130. Like I guarantee getting in before we're about to have a major leg to the upside. The run is not over this year. We're going to see new all-time highs on most of these coins. Now, not everything can run, right? XRP, for example, is fully being adopted by every bank. I mean, the list is ginormous, and it's not going to be like, Bank of America is adopting XRP, right? And the government with Trump's administration has already given the green light to give banks the authority to use crypto with banks, right? And there's so many different bills being passed, and there's so many different catalysts for this run that's like never been heard of and people dreamed of for many, many years. And it's like now we're at this point, right? Where, I mean, even the government, we now have a crypto reserve, right? But XRP, for example, right? So Bank of America is one of the banks that's adopting it. So say I Zelle one of you guys money, or I would do a wire transfer one of you guys, okay? So it's not like we're going to send each other XRP, but what's going to happen is in the back end, they're going to be using XRP for all their transactions because it's faster, it's secure, cheaper, and that's basically how the banks will be using XRP, Ripple, for transactions. Now, SUI is a coin maybe some of you have heard of, but maybe not all of you. It is literally as fast as Solana. I trade this thing on a daily basis, like day trading it, leverage trading. This has been so on the 20th, like the April 19th or the 20th, sorry, on Sunday. I started getting, sorry, my dog. Hold on. I started writing this thing up almost every single day, and it was at $2.10 on the 19th or the 20th, sorry. And it has just gone all the way back up to 380. This is one coin that has been massively running. Obviously, I'm saying probably wait for it to pull back. Do not just jump in now. I was getting in this at like 40 cents back, 45 cents back in August last year. And it has already done $5.40. It's gonna continue, I guarantee it. Probably $8, $7 guaranteed, most likely, easily. But this network is as fast as Solana. The transaction speed, all that. They aren't like, the one thing that Solana was real big about that this network isn't is like the whole meme coin phase, right? That's Solana's thing. Sui's not trying to jump on that really, but Sui is releasing like this portable gaming device where every video game on the device is on the Sui network and you're connected to the Sui network on the device. It's called the Sui Play. I know Solana is also coming out with something very similar. But the network itself is there's huge hype around it. Everyone's developing and building on it. And this is a coin that I would not miss out on. I would definitely get. Right now it's at $3.50. I'm not saying buy today, but if we can get back down to like the 250, $2, something like that before, because that's what I see for a lot of these. I personally think we're going to come down before we really catapult up. I mean, I don't have the exact targets, but the 2 to 250 range for this one specifically, I think is great. Just like I said with Solana, like 100, 125 in that range, you're solid on a like on an investing standpoint, not day trading. Also, a lot of people don't know about Caspa. I was fortunate enough to find this. I'm not even kidding. Back in 2023, down here below at a penny, and it has reached 21 cents. I just randomly read the white paper about it, and I'm still holding all of it, to be honest. I never let go of this one because it's like if you took Bitcoin's network and Solana's speed and combined them, that's what this is. And the thing about it that makes it like at any point this could really take off, is because big exchanges like Coinbase and Binance don't even have it listed yet. So that's one of those things where this thing is really, really popular. A lot of people, I know Kurt back in IM used to talk about it too. Um, but I was ranting and raving about it like way, way early, really on. There's like even a video on my TikTok when I was buying it at 1 cent back in 2023. Another one that a lot of people like you do hear about it. It just depends on, I guess, where you're getting your info. But Chainlink is like by far, hands down, one of the biggest tokens I believe that will shock and surprise a lot of people. And I don't think it's going anywhere. One thing that I like how he explained like the definition of what it is. Like imagine if you owned a city, right? Like you're the mayor of a city. You got to have plumbing throughout the city, right? Chainlink is like the plumbing through the city. It connects all these different networks. Others have tried to copy and duplicate what they do, but no one has been able to do what they do. There's nothing like every coin has something that's very similar or whatever, right? Chainlink, nothing really competes with it. And nothing can connect to every network the way that Chainlink does. Now, um, H bar, XLM, I'm not like big fans on them. Jupiter, I think, is really in a spot where I believe it should take off at any point as well. It is by far the biggest platform, decentralized exchange and app and all types. I mean, it does a lot of different things in the Solana network. And unfortunately, it did take a big deep dive. It was at $1.80. If you have it and you stake it on the Jupiter network, and then you vote every month or so. They have these voting because it's all decentralized and everyone votes, right? And I mean, I've maintained, some like, I don't know, just as an example, like $4,000 worth of Jupiter, right? And I've always staked it to the network. I've always voted whenever it comes in. Like last airdrop, I got $500 worth of tokens. So continuously 300, 400, $500. I have a buddy that has, probably like 15 grand in Jupiter, just for an example, and he gets a couple thousand worth of tokens every time they do an airdrop. And it's like a couple times, a few times a year. I'd say at least four times. So the like for me holding $4,000 in it and getting three, four, $500 every time they do it, that's a huge percentage of just free money, right? That's the other perk to it is if you do hold it and you stake it to the Jupiter network and you vote every month, which is very, very simple, you're getting your reward for doing that is massively worth it, is what I'm trying to get at as well. Um, Another one that I have been in for a while and I think will also shock a lot of people is Aerodrome. Now, I don't know if a lot of you guys know about the Base network. It is Coinbase's blockchain network. They don't have their own token, but they have their own network called the Base network, which is tied to the Ethereum network, but it's the faster, cheaper version of Ethereum network, right? So it has, you can get Ethereum on the Base network and swap it to the ETH network if you want at any point, but you can use it the same way on the Base network, but the fees are way, way, way cheaper. Now, Aerodrome is a token that it's the biggest DEX, decentralized exchange on the Base network. It is massively popular. A lot of people are big on it. And that is also another one that I've had for a while now. And I use it to lend and borrow, right? I lend on it. I lend it out, but it's pretty much the same as like staking, right? But there's been points where I'm earning 40%, 30% APY. So it does change depending on how many tokens are being lent or staked on the network. But I've had it from anywhere from 40% to 10%. And that also is a huge reward for holding and basically staking it, right? Um, and when you're doing the lending, there's no risk to it. Like it's not like you're actually sending it to someone. It's basically the same thing as if you were staking it. So I don't want anyone to like be worried that you're just randomly lending out crypto to somebody. Um, so for ETH tokens as well, Aave, I think also will be a great one. Render, this is a protocol that Render is also on the net on the ETH and the base network. But what Render does is this is like really big for like programmers and people that develop and stuff like that. So you can on the network, you can borrow GPU power so you can just have your one desktop, but say you are needing to run like I've even heard of someone online, I don't know them, but online, they were renting GPU power through the Render network to mine, I don't know if it was Bitcoin or what crypto they were mining, but they were borrowing their GPU power, someone that had 10, 20 computers without having to actually have the computers and store them. And this is also another one that I don't think anyone really duplicates, like how exactly they like how good they do it compared to some of the others that kind of copied what they did. They're the original. They came up with, they're the first ones to do it, and they do it the best, right? This one I think also will surprise. I mean, it's already hit 1350, right? Right now we're at 460. And it's another one that I do believe is going to do very, very well. Um, Now Ondo. Ondo is another one. Definitely going to surprise and do very, very extremely well. Um, I was getting into this around 50 cents and talking about it back in 2024. So BlackRock, for you guys don't know what BlackRock is, it's the biggest corporation in the world. They own pretty much everything. I mean, literally, they own almost everything. The CEO's name is Larry Fink. You might have heard that name before. He used to be super anti-crypto, but now he's all about it. And this is the token that is gonna really do some crazy things. So Larry Fink and the people of Ondo and BlackRock, they want to tokenize everything, right? They want to tokenize literally everything. So what they want to do is tokenize real world assets. So gold, silver, oil, um, the S&P, NASDAQ. I'm like, that's down the road. Literally, they want to tokenize the whole stock market. So you can trade it 24/7. Um, Basically, it'd be like they already have things like real estate and all types of things on crypto, right? But Ondo wants to be, and they're the catalyst when it comes to real world assets. They're the ones that really started the trend and are doing it the best. But also, they are fully backed by BlackRock. And with that big of a corporation behind it, like, there's no way that this token won't do amazing, right? It is also another one that Trump in his DeFi project, the World Liberty Fund, they hold a big amount of Ondo. They also are holding it. They announced it with the crypto, the government, the crypto reserve. Ondo's on that list as well. So that's another one that I definitely, especially at 90 cents, I definitely think you guys can afford to grab some Ondo. I don't think you're going to regret it. Injective, also a very great project. I think is at really low levels right now. It was at $6, not even that. I mean, just earlier this month, it was $6. Now it's at 10. And remember, all of this is on, I'm looking at the daily chart and all of this, so it's fully zoomed out for anyone that's new. And other than like, I don't want to give you guys too many different ones, but um, let's just say you wanted to gamble a little bit on the side. I'm not a huge meme coin person, but I just want to point out two that could, I personally think are gonna outdo any other meme coin, right? If you wanted to just try just a little bit, like $100 on each one to see, because you have to remember in the last bull run, Doge and Shiba were the first two meme coins. That was the first two. And they are to this day, I mean, the market cap of them is still billions. I mean, it's insane what they have become, right? In the billions. And so Bonk is the first. This is the token that started the whole Solana meme coin phase. Uh, they're the ones that started it. And Bonk back in 2023 it came out and has done, I mean, back here to here, I mean, 2 million%. Yeah, 2 million%. I mean, literally, I'm not even kidding. It's like unheard of. But I know when the market came crashing down, meme coins took the biggest dive, right? But at this point,
Yeah,
bonk,
we'll
hello?
see.
Bonk is, so look at it like this. There was two coins that ran to ridiculous amounts on the last bull run. This bull run, now we have, can you mute yourself, bro? Anyways, on this bull run, there has been thousands and thousands, and there's continuously hundreds of meme coins coming out every single day. Most of them fail and go to nothing, but the two that I think are going to outperform every other meme coin and do amazing numbers is Bonk. Now you got to think of it. Bonk is the mascot and the face for the meme coin phase on Solana. Now you have Pepe. Pepe was and did the same crazy numbers as Bonk, 11,000%. Anyways, Pepe is the face of the meme coin phase on Ethereum. So you got Bonk on the Solana network and then Pepe on the ETH network. And it's like kind of like the mascots for each network, right? These were the two that really outdid everything. There's been some really good ones since then, but I don't think anything has touched what they're doing. Here's one more that's just kind of like a different genre is the AI narrative, and this was I don't know if any one of you ever heard about the AI agent phase that came out earlier during like the winter or earlier this year, and also in the winter like December last year. Or I guess it was no summertime last year, sorry, but it didn't really start exploding until like December, January. Virtual protocol is like this platform that you can create your own virtual agent, AI virtual agent. You know, you can give it different names, faces, stuff like that, but then you can program it to do certain things. And people literally have AI agents that trade crypto for them, swap, move money from wallet to wallet, do all types of different things for them, or even like make posts every day. Uh, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Zero Bro, but that was an AI agent coin that literally to this day still posts on X. He has his own X account, and it literally every single day it's an AI that's posting every day. There was someone that made it and then literally told it like from here on out, you do everything yourself. You don't answer to nobody. And it was like the craziest story, but it took a big dive, but it's starting to wake up again, but not I'm not saying go buy that. But what I'm getting at is that started the whole AI agent thing. And to this day, they have X accounts and stuff like that and social media where they post every single day. And it was just really kind of like it's nothing has been done like that before, right? It was very crazy. And they continue to post and, it'll pump and they'll say something one day that'll make the market pump. And then um I don't know if anyone's heard of this one, but it has gotten even media attention and like on like the big news stations like for Yahoo Finance, all types of them. But Fartcoin, I'm not saying go like, but I think this is gonna like shock a lot of people because it's just one of those things that just will not die and it just keeps going and going. From March when the market took a huge dive, it was at 20 cents. It's all the way back up to it hit $1.30 again. And there's this huge community of people that are like trying to basically like there was a huge joke when the market was tanking. This thing was running and like Wall Street was confused on why this coin was running while the market was dumping back in like December and January and stuff. But or January when the market first started dumping. But really just stick to the I don't want to like confuse you and say to buy that, but I'm just saying these are like the main ones you should focus on by far. There's a huge opportunity coming that none of you guys should miss out on. Like crypto is going to completely shift the future 100%. It just keeps growing and growing and growing and getting more and more and more adopted. Like Bitcoin, I will not sell any Bitcoin. I will continue just to keep holding it. It will get to a point where every bank and every government and everyone will want, anyone's Bitcoin because all of it will be mined up and there will be no more to become. There's only a limited supply. There's no more. And I think it's like what, 2030 or something. All the Bitcoin will be mined and there will be no more. Um, so I also wanted to ask you guys if there is any pair, currency, stock, anything that you want me to go over. I do this every day when I go live. I ask people if there's something that after I'm done training, I ask them if there's something that you want me to go over, or when we're kind of in the gray period. I can also go over what I see for like indices, right? I still think S&P too could pull back with the rest of the stock market one last time before running again. I think that we'll clear this. And sorry about the yellow lines. It's part of, actually, I could go over something that is insanely accurate. And it's a strategy that I think even you guys that are new could understand. It is beyond simple and beyond accurate. Any of you, I challenge you to go back test it. I've been making thousands of dollars every week off of this strategy. I'm in and out of the market every day. I go multiple weeks where I'm undefeated, all off of this. And I will show you guys this. Okay, so let me get rid of all this. That's what I'll do right now. Give me 1 second. Okay, so, and you can test this on anything. So it works best on indices. It works good on gold. You need a fast moving pair. You need something that has volume. Obviously, all the main cryptos, it works very well. Like, for example, SUI for the past weeks, I've just demolished it every single day. Um, so I'll go back. So the open range breakout, the orb, it's called the orb. It's the open range breakout. So you go to the 15-minute time frame, you can get this little indicator called orb. I get the one called ZZZ Crypto 123. It doesn't have anything to do. I mean, you can use it on anything. It doesn't matter. It's just the guy's name. But you have to go to the settings and you have to change it. It's military time, so depending on your time zone, you have to set it for the 9:30 Eastern time candle, right? So whatever 9:30 will be Eastern time for you. So for me, I'm Pacific, so it's 6:30 a.m., right? So that's what I set it for. Hold on. So you gotta go total time minutes 15 and then session time 13:30 to 13:45. That's for me for 9:30 to 9:45. So you wait for the first 15 minutes to form, okay? So it has to be the full 15 minutes. So you don't even do anything until 9:45 Eastern, 6:45 Pacific. The high is the green line. The low is obviously the red line for the open candle, the first 15-minute candle. Okay. So you will wait for a break above, which would indicate a long, or a break below to indicate a short, right? Remember, this is on a Sunday. So this first went consolidated. This is on a Sunday on SUI, a crypto. So first we break out, right? And after you see it break out, you can go to the 5 minute. Hold on, let me just do today instead. Hold up. Let me just do today because it's gonna every time I change the time frame, it's gonna keep going back. Um, so for today, for example, okay, it gave a quick break below, but that's why you want to wait. A lot of times it'll break below and then come back and test it, and then you get in. It didn't really break out until 2:10 today because it is crypto. But as soon as you saw this breakout, it popped back up to the red line, and you could have shorted every time I say a 1 to 2, 1 to 3, right? What's cool about it is you're always going to have an extremely tight stop loss because if it pops back in, it's going to be a failed breakout, just like here. This was a failed breakout. This would have psyched you out. But here's the thing about it. So say you took this, right? And you were going for a 1 to 3, 1 to 2, but it did not continue to break out. You immediately get stopped out, right? This is going to be a small loss, but you could still go 1%, 2% of your account size, but you're if it, when it does break out, you're obviously going to make a lot more because you can go a little bit higher on your lot size or your leverage, but still only risk 1 or 2% with a small stop. If you obviously do your risk reward, your risk management correctly. So today that would have played out, but not until 2 p.m. Then if you look at this was just Wednesday, right? Beyond easy, incredibly simple. We break out, we get the breakout, we come back in, and I mean, this thing completely just ran. That was a very, very simple setup. I'll show you on Bitcoin, for example, right? So same thing. We kind of hovered back and forth on it, and then we break out. You take a long, boom. If it would have came back in, you would have had a small stop. Today, not much action. You need a high volume day. But even here, I remember this day. This was Monday, right? Yeah. Just here to here, I still got a 1 to 2.7. If that's exactly, I don't remember exactly where my stop was, but I still snagged this. And especially once you start making the habit of this and then you're trading with a larger account, a move like this can most likely replace whatever income you're currently getting. I mean, this is honestly the people that trade this, they take small moves but then again, with this strategy, you get huge breakouts, especially in crypto. This came back in, right? And then it showed you a short. This would have been two different things in one day. So we break out, we come back, test the red line, boom. That's a 1 to 6, 1 to 7 almost. Then we come right back in at 9, 10 p.m. So this is later in the day. But with crypto, it's like, this thing can break out at any time of the day and then gave you a gigantic move. Right here, this was a simple day. Breaks out, boom. I mean, it's literally the easiest thing. And when I found this a couple months ago, I've consistently been printing off this every week, consistently. Um, it kind of shocked me at first how simple it is and how effective it is at the same time. So this one came back in, right? It did break out, but it came right back in. But then on the second breakout, and that's the thing about it, is your stop is so tight depending on where you get, because if it comes back in and breaks, it's considered failed. It needs high volume. But when it came back in, say this hit you out. Okay, cool. And then you saw it break out again and you took it. When it came back and tested the green line on this wick right here, on this, and you tested, it came back, tested it, you took it on that and it ran. Let me do S&P, for example. So for this, I have to change my, there we go. Now, for people that are new, I want you to heavily focus on the scanners and using those tools. But what's crazy is I was talking to Cruz the other day, and I've been talking to him about this strategy. And I started looking at kill shot a lot. I'm trading this, but I've been noticing that kill shot's been calling. There's similar things inside a kill shot that like it was calling out exactly where I took the trade and on NAS and S&P, right? Not really, I haven't really watched for Bitcoin, but on NAS, I've been looking at kill shot while I'm doing this on TradingView or in taking the trade, right? Um, so today, I personally took this today. Now there's different variations. So here's a whole nother concept that I just started getting into and I did this today. So today I saw S&P not it respected the low of the orb and immediately was pushing up. So I knew that it wasn't breaking the low. So I played off of it and I capitalized on this whole move. My stop loss was literally right below the red line and I got that whole move. And I got out around like this candle here where it started to pull back. Somewhere in there when I started to see it fail, I got out. But what I'm getting at is there's different variations on different things that you can do with the strategy. Like, for instance, let me show you this day, I got it on the same thing. It did break below just a tiny bit, but I knew that it was instantly coming in and respecting the low. You can see that it wicked on the low twice of the orb, and I took it. Then it bounced off the high of the orb, and I took a second entry, and that ran, but I didn't get this full move. I got out here. And this is where uh, I've done this once when it's a ranging day where it's just consolidating back and forth. Like last Friday, I believe it was. Last Thursday, this was beyond easy. It literally right at the open of the orb. So like 6:45, the thing just took off. And it didn't get any easier than that. But when it's a consolidating day, like right here, just going back and forth, it wasn't this day because that's at 7 p.m. Because obviously with indices, you're only looking at this during the New York market. So for this day, super simple. Broke out, came back, tested the red line, the low, short. Never saw it again. And, you know, obviously it went even farther, but I don't recommend, obviously that's 1 in the morning. So, um, and you want to be out of indices around 11, 12 p.m. anyways. But that was super simple. This was I mean, this is just constantly some of the easiest breakouts, but it needs high volume, right? It needs high volume. This day immediately just ripped to the downside, but it didn't even really give you a chance to enter this, right? It didn't. Like I remember this day too. It was on Monday, the 21st. This also, here's a prime example of a very confusing one because it breaks out, very short-lived and comes back in. Then it wants to go to the downside in the mid-afternoon, so it didn't really matter. This was it pushes down then pushes up first, but then it really made the true move to the downside. Um, so you might have been, you gotta like I recommend anyone to go back test this because once you really get the hang of this thing, it almost feels like it's not even it just doesn't even seem fair because so simple. And I've actually been like telling Cruz and Austin a lot about it, a few of you guys. And this thing is, honest to God, like the easiest thing I have ever traded. And don't get me wrong, like I still trade ICT and smart money concepts. I still look at different things. I have an account right now that I'm swing trading Bitcoin all the way since the huge breakout on the 20th on Sunday on Bitcoin down here. I'm still swing trading Bitcoin here, and then when it did rally base, I got in again, and then when it did a rally base, I got in. I've stacked 3 positions and still holding all the way up. So I have different accounts for different things, right? I traded 3, 4 different accounts. So say like the other week I was 14-0, but I'm spreading that out between crypto and for indices and gold. Okay. I know a lot of you guys love gold. Let me show you the orb on gold. So for me, I feel like gold isn't always as spot on as like say S&P, NAS, and Bitcoin or some other like SUI or Solana. But it definitely works. I mean, today alone, you could have caught gold off the orb to the downside. So obviously give you a failed breakout, came up, and you gotta be realistic when you're back testing this stuff. Like, okay, it breaks out, comes back, but you would have probably went for the short, right? But had a small stop and got hit out. Okay. Comes back, and because your stop is so lost, obviously, I mean, so small, and you do the right risk management, you can easily afford to come back. Hold on. There's 2 people in the waiting room. Ace. Okay, my bad. So you can easily afford to do another entry, right? And gold today, what's up, Ace? Would have gave you a gigantic move off the orb to the downside. I mean, this thing is like 3,300 all the way down to 3,220. I mean, it's massive. Ace. There we go. Okay. So here, let's see. This is a choppy day, right? But let me show you something that I have only done like once or twice. I don't recommend anyone starting this and start doing this, but it's just something to. So when you have a choppy sideways day with the orb, this probably ain't the best example, but there's guys that I watch that I learned this from that are very, very successful prop firm traders that make a lot of money trading just the orb, right? And when you have a consolidating day, you can get on the 1 minute, and when it's clearly bouncing back and forth in between the orb, the high and the low, obviously, you can play off when it hits the top and take it down to the bottom. And I did this the other day where I played off the top and then the bottom to the top like 3 times in one day. Um, and when you're trading larger accounts, this move from here to here, can be very, very profitable. Very good. Here's a easy move last Monday this week. Gold took the breakout on the orb. Boom. You would have caught 159, yeah, 159 pips. No, 300 pips. 380 pips or 360 or whatever. That was a huge move. Another one came out, that's on the 5 minute. You want to see a breakout at least. Oh, and the key thing I forgot to tell you guys, it cannot be just a wick above or below. It has to be a full body candle breakout above or below. So this would have been, and I recommend a 5 minute candle or a 15-minute count, not a 1 minute candle. So this right here, clear telltale sign that this is breaking out. This right here, clear tell sign that we are breaking out to the upside. And we even retested the high of the orb, and boom, you could have easily snagged that move all the way. Say you just went for a 1 to 2, 1 to 3, you would have cleared a lot more than just that. I mean, this thing really ran for real, like big, 400 something pips. Yeah, 400 something pips. Um, and break out to the upside, and then later in that's nighttime London session. And that's one thing about gold is also just like crypto, where it can run and do the breakout like during London. So this is a prime example. Broke out London session, London open, broke out of the New York, low, the New York low, because session to session respects the highs and lows, London and New York's highs and lows. That's a whole nother thing I don't want to overwhelm people with, but the highs and lows, the orb of the opening to New York, London, and Asian, you will see a lot of and for anyone that's more advanced, I definitely check it out. Go back test it and look at that, mark up the highs and lows of the London Open, the New York Open, and the Asian Open one time and just see how they all play off each other. But London Open, we break out, pull back to the low of the New York orb, boom. And then New York Open,
Yo,
break
yo,
out.
yo.
What's up?
What's good, my bro?
Yeah.
Alex, my bad. I don't mean to
Oh, you're
interrupt you,
fun.
bro. We just about
It's
to
been a
start
long.
the
Yeah.
up call,
I'm
and
ready
we
to
kind
get
of need
going
to sync.
anyways, for sure.
But
So
no, you're
anyways,
crushing, it, bro. Thank you for real.
all right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all, and we will do this again. I guess tomorrow morning I'm doing the trading call as well. So I advise all you guys to hop on, and we can actually trade this with me tomorrow because I don't think we're doing Jay's session. I think we're just freestyling it, I believe. If anyone wants to hop on tomorrow morning with me, I will be. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see all the messages, guys. My bad. Wow. Let me read this. What's your confirmation about
All
USD?
good,
My
bro. No worries.
bad. Wow. Secure side. What about AMP? I don't. I'm not. I would choose something better than AMP, guys. I can look at it for you. I apologize, guys. I'm just now looking at this. Tell you what, if you guys hop on in the morning, I'll look at them with you guys, and I can look at AMP or whatever you guys want me to look at. But I appreciate y'all. I'll let you guys take the Zoom, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace out.